Is this a watch or is this actually Megatron's eyeball? Let's break it down. This is the MING 20.01 Series 5, and it's not only one of the most visually arresting chronographs I have seen so far, it's also Grand Prix Horloger de Genève finalist in the chronograph category. So this particular series has served as a launch platform for Ming's most significant dial innovations to date, and here, well, it has to be said, the first thing you see is certainly the dial. It looks like it comes straight from space, and apparently this is actually intentional. So Ming and team wanted to channel science fiction topology, the idea of structures that are too complex to exist in reality, and I do have to say, yeah, they certainly pulled it off here in the metal. Now the dial is actually very interesting, whether you like this look or not. Leaving that aside here, the dial is really interesting. So the dial is not stamped, it's not layered, and all of these little pieces haven't been glued on top of the blue dial here. So it's laser milled out of a single block of titanium. The process essentially creates then these radial strakes that shift in contour both vertically and horizontally. Then it is vapor coated in an intense blue, and then the laser work starts again to remove the coating on those upper surfaces, revealing then stone-washed titanium underneath, leaving then these strakes in that different color. So the result is two-tone, multi-textured, and live with light. It's a kind of dial that changes every time you tilt your wrist, so that is never not a good thing, I would say. Now all of this dial work lives in a 41.5 by 14.2 millimeter hybrid case composed of 34 separate parts. You've got a hybrid case, meaning you have essentially bezel lugs and case back in stainless steel, and then a DLC coated titanium core. Color matched pushers in titanium, and then these short, typical, I would say short Ming sculpted lugs mean it wears far more compact than the numbers I've mentioned so far might suggest. And on top, of course, the domed sapphire crystal, which does not only carry AR coating, but also then the laser-edged scale and indices in that sapphire crystal, which we have seen before at Ming, of course. They are filled with Ming's proprietary polar white lume, one of the more unique ways to make your dial glow pure white, contrasted then by the blue lumed hand. Now flip it over and you are greeted by one very nice caliber. So this is the Agenhor AgenGraphe Caliber 6361.M1, configured here exclusively for Ming, as also noted on the bridge there. So the movement is a marvel. Instead of the traditional chronograph layout with subdials scattered around, the AgenGraphe puts everything in the center. The chronograph minutes are instantaneous, jumping, so there is no lag or creeping. Now Ming's version is manual wind with twin skeletonized barrels, which is something, of course, that Ming fanatics will be familiar with. I think that is a very nice touch on a manual wind movement. And then there is a hard stop at full wind, so you feel exactly when the spring is charged, and you can of course see it as well if you want to through those skeletonized barrels. Now on the front, I do have to say, with all of that visual intrigue happening there, this is not going to win any prize for being the most readable chronograph. But then again, I do not think that is what Ming is going for anyway. Now on the wrist, this isn't just futuristic spectacle, it's also nice to wear, as we are used to, I would say, with Ming's watches. This is on the larger side compared to their standard collection, if I can call it that. This is also quite practical, so we have 50 meters of water resistance and 2 straps are included. On the wrist, on my wrist, which is a 16.5 centimeter wrist, it did not feel oversized. If you have a much smaller wrist, hey, try to give this one a try, if that is even possible. A chronograph dial that feels like an alien artifact. I would say it's a very polarizing dial for sure. Love it, hate it, whatever. It's always about rediscovering that sense of wonder in watchmaking. Ultimately, these watches are not for everyone, and I mean that also literal, so these are limited to 25 pieces and they go currently at 37.5k Swiss francs. So what do you think? Is the Ming or this particular Ming the future of their chronograph line, or is it too far into sci-fi territory for you? Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much and see you next time.